Haverty's Furniture is here to help you get set for the season with up to $1,000 off. So you can set the stage with style and set the bar more beautifully. So why not settle in together on a new sofa? Because being at home doesn't mean having to settle for less. Even though the holidays feel a little different this year, Haverty's Furniture can help you create the perfect holiday setting with up to $1,000 off plus 0% interest.
This is No BS Job Search Advice Radio, episode 1798. I'm your host, Jeff Altman, the Big Game Hunter, and welcome. Tuesday, episode 1800. No podcast is close to this one in terms of numbers of episodes, and let me restate that. No podcast in the job search category is close to that number in Apple Podcasts. And I've got a good show for you about job hunting during times like these. You know, pandemic times. Times where there's a crisis in one form or another, where it seems like nothing's going on. And in the meantime, today I've got a show about the number one mistake I see people make with their resume. Hope you find it helpful, and hope you give it a great review. And I'd love to hear from you. Now, if you've got a question, message me through Wisio.com, Wisio.com/The Big Game Hunter. And if you just want to connect with me on LinkedIn, you can send a connection request to me at LinkedIn.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. And particularly if you're outside the U.S., mention that you listen to the show, because I'm approaching the 30,000 person limit that LinkedIn has for people. And I'm not normally accepting connection requests from outside the U.S. unless you mention that you listen to the show or watch my YouTube channel, JobSearch.TV.com. And with that, in the meantime, let's get going. I thought I would talk with you today about the biggest mistake I see people make with their resumes. Now, I don't do recruiting anymore. I did it for more than 40 years. So I've got the perspective from that, and I see it reinforced time again now that I do coaching. So here's what people do. They write one resume, and they don't think of their audience when they submit that resume. So it's okay to have that generic resume for use on job boards. But if you're applying for a position, applying means that you've got an idea as to what this firm is looking for. Maybe you've seen an ad and you're applying. You've got to stop yourself right away and not just flip that resume to the firm like it's a burger at a fast food restaurant. You know, like you're just tossing that same resume over and over again, because the result winds up being you're not getting the results that you want. It's not working. You need to tailor your resume to demonstrate that you fit the job. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is, if you're applying for a position, you need to stop yourself from just submitting the same generic resume to them and pause for a second and say, if an 8-year-old was reading this resume, could they see that I fit this job? And if they can't, you've got to rewrite it by adding some things into it, maybe removing some others, to call attention to your experience. Now, I'm going to pause for 1 second, because I know some of you are going to say, I can just put it in the cover letter. No, you can't. And the reason for that is, if you put it in the cover letter or in a cover email, people go to the resume and they look for some congruence with what you've written there. And if they don't see it, they think of this as being a minor part of your work, and they're considering it a major part of your responsibilities. You see the disconnect there? They want someone who really knows it. And if it's not in the resume, they don't believe you know it. They think it's like an adjunct. So you've got to get it into the resume. It can be as simple as 1 or 2 sentences added in, and maybe you take 1 or 2 sentences, take 1 or 2 sentences out. This will help you get better results. Now, again, if you're posting a resume on a job board, it should be a keyword-rich, generic resume that really speaks to a lot. But if you're applying for a job, you know what they're looking for. If you've been referred by someone, you know what they're looking for, and you have to make damn sure that your resume shows that you fit, or else you are wasting your time and theirs, and you are not going to get the interview that you want. So that's today's show. I hope you found it helpful, and if you did, here are a few more ways to get information and advice from me. First of all, there's my website, which is thebiggamehunter.us. I have more than 8,000 blog posts there that you can watch, listen to, or read that will help you find your next job. In addition, if you're interested in my coaching you, at the site there's a button there that says schedule. Schedule time for a free discovery call, schedule yourself in for coaching, interview preparation coaching, salary negotiation advice, coaching related to hiring more effectively, managing and leading, helping you to be a better executive in your organization, and overall being a better employee of your firm. If you have questions for me, you can ask them at Wizio.com/The Big Game Hunter. That's WISIO.com/The Big Game Hunter. The price at Wizio is less than 1/3 of what I'm charging my website. And I'm doing this because I want to benefit my subscribers here and on YouTube, and only you're going to know about it. You can also connect with me on LinkedIn at LinkedIn.com/IN/The Big Game Hunter. Mention that you watched or listened to my content. I like knowing I'm helping folks. Once we're connected, it's nice to hear from you. I'd love to hear from you from time to time about how I'm helping. You can also watch me on TV. Did you know that? If you have a Fire TV or a Fire Stick, download the JobSearch TV app for Apple TV, Roku, Sony, Samsung, like 90 different TV platforms. You can watch me on either Zingo TV or BingeNetworks.tv. On YouTube, subscribe at JobSearchTV.com and have access to thousands of videos I've created. I'll be back tomorrow with more, and in the meantime, I hope you have a great day. Be great!
Ace is the place with the helpful hardware, folks.
This Thanksgiving, think outside the oven and get Thanks Grilling with Ace. Get a new grill and choose from top brands like Traeger, Weber, and Big Green Egg to add even more flavor to your Thanksgiving turkey, side dishes, and desserts. Plus, right now, get free assembly and delivery on all grills and accessories $3.99 and up. For the best help on the best grills, stop by your local Ace and get Thanks Grilling. Ace Rewards members only through December 24th. See participating stores for scheduling or exclusions.
Want to hear something amazing? Discover matches all the cash back you earn on your credit card at the end of your first year, automatically, dollar for dollar, with no limit on how much you can earn. Extra cash? Come on, how amazing is that? In fact, it's even more amazing when you realize all the places where Discover is accepted. 99% of places in the U.S. that take credit cards. So when it comes to Discover, get used to hearing yes more often. Learn more at discover.com/yes. 2020 Nielsen Report limitations apply.